Ladies and gentlemen, get those dollars ready. Coming up next to the stage on the OtherGround podcast, it's your host, Passive J and Ryan.
Good afternoon, and welcome to yet another edition of OtherGround Live. I'm Passive J. That's Ryan over there. Say hello, Ryan.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is Thursday, May the 28th, and I got nothing again.
Yes, well, hopefully we'll have a great show for everybody. I see the OG armies forming up in the chat box. Always happy to see you guys. How'd your day go, Ryan?
You know, not too bad. Another freaking busy day. I swear, I just cannot escape this week. Glad the post office finally decided to do its job and got that package off towards you. Also glad that Amazon did its job and brought this new microphone. Can you hear any difference at all?
Yeah, actually, I think I can. It's always hard to tell because your other mic's really good as well. It's technically a better microphone than the one that you're using. I would have to hear them both together, and of course, what I hear isn't necessarily what the audience hears. So I think they're probably the people that you should ask.
Well, Ruthie said I sound great, so I think we're good there. You know, our one female listener gave me the thumbs up. We're good.
Yeah. No, you sound pretty good. You definitely does not sound bad. So I think it's a good thing going. But as we mentioned, your other microphone was pretty good too. So it's not like you made a big upgrade. It's probably about like a sideways. It's probably going to really depend on you going back and listening to it, which one you like the way you sound better, because both of them sound good, obviously.
Yeah, there's just a little bit of a difference. So, I mean, I have to have more gain going into the Shure. This one has a little bit more kind of just standing power based on it being a condenser. But I'm familiar with this type of microphone, obviously, since this is really just the newer version of what I sent you. So we'll see how it goes.
Excellent. All right. Well, I had a busy day, so I'm not sure if I'm going to have a ton in the way of topics. Let's get my complaining out of the way at the beginning of the show, because that way people who know about that can tune in later on. Bad news department. I broke a tooth today.
You broke one of your fake teeth?
No. Thank God. No. It was one of the molars in the back. And it's one of those good news, bad news things. The bad news is I broke a tooth, and it's annoying as fuck. The good news is it was on a tooth, like one of the back two. The second, I think it's the, wait a minute, we count. Third from the back, or second from the back, somewhere around there. Molar was one that I had a root canal on when I was fucking 12. So it does not hurt. You know what a molar looks like, obviously. You know how it comes up in kind of like a crown. Well, after a root canal, they clear out the entire center of that and make that a gigantic filling. So instead of having a flat top, basically the only parts of the tooth left are four pieces coming up underneath the filling part, and one of the pieces broke off, so like a quarter of my tooth. But like the top of the molar is still there because it's mostly just filling. It's just annoying. So now I have like a hole in the side of my on the inside of my tooth that my tongue keeps on catching on. I've got a dentist appointment on Monday to have it looked at. Ironically enough, and this is just fucked up fate for you. When I originally had this filling root canal when I was 12, it was the first time I'd ever been to a dentist, and it was just this local dentist around the corner, Dr. Awanowski. And I used him as I was a teenager growing up, because I didn't go to the dentist until I was 12 because I didn't have dental insurance or health insurance until around then. So that's kind of not surprisingly, my teeth were bad. So he gave me a root canal and that thing. And then I didn't see him from after my teenage years. Went to different dentists because I moved around, won that contest. So I went to this guy in Clausen that gave me the teeth for a while. And motherfucker, if the guy isn't still around in the same spot. So I made a appointment with him. So he's going to be fixing his own fucking work, although he doesn't realize it yet.
That sounds absolutely thrilling.
I mean, seriously, we're talking like 12, 24, 34, like 30 something years ago that this happened. So I'm sure it'll be amusing. He's got to be like in his late 60s, 70s at this point. It's probably a bad idea to pick him as my dentist, but he's still there. So I figured I'd give it a shot. They don't have any record of me because apparently they don't keep records past 30 years or so. But, but it might be funny to see if he remembers me or not.
Yeah, I think I might go another path other than, old man River looking at my teeth.
Right. It's a simple work. He's just gonna put some filler in there or some shit like that, I imagine. And if he and obviously if he is like really ancient and decrepit, I might just go ahead and get a different dentist. But it can't hurt to have him look at it.
Goddamn, Jay, your dogs are going absolutely nuts.
Sorry, I muted my microphone to yell at them. Yeah, they they like to bark at things as they're walking by, and my wife's encouraging a bad habit. So a lot of times she's like, "Yeah, get them." Shit, the other a couple hours ago, the husky down the road started howling, and that's when we discovered that our little dog Lulu will howl, but only if you howl along with the dog. So, so my wife heard the dog howling. She started howling, and to everyone's surprise, Lulu started howling. She'd never done it before, but apparently, if you encourage her, she'll go for it.
Well, yeah, now you're teaching them that this is the proper thing to do.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want that dog howling every time she hears another dog. That's not good behavior. We work on it though. We're working on all kinds of things. We had to clip their toenails today, which is always an adventure. Do you do that to your dogs, or is that something you have done?
So with the larger one, it's easy. He'll just kind of sit there. The smaller dog gets super squirmy, so I kind of have to put her in like a harness.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, I have like a harness that was for a bigger dog, but you can get her front legs in there, and then I cut 2 more holes into it to put her back legs through, and then I just hang her from one of my barbells. So her legs are just dangling there, and I can just do it that way.
Yeah. Lulu's neither of them like it. Lulu's not too bad. Lulu can be distracted with the peanut butter trick. They just hold a spoonful of peanut butter in front of her, and she's too busy fucking with that to try to really fight you too much. Sadie's not about that life at all. Like she gets so upset about it. Like you'll put the peanut butter in front of her, and she'll turn her head like, "No, I'm too upset to eat peanut butter." And I basically have to put her in like a body lock and hold her down to get her nails cut. She was a little bit better this time. She didn't struggle quite as much, but there's times where we have to do like 1 paw a day because she gets too worked up after it. But it's getting better. We were able to do all of her paws today, and other than a couple of stressed out moments, she did fine. So it's a process, but she should be farther along. She's turning 3 here in a month or 2. So, but it's okay. She's a good dog.
Well, you didn't exactly work into it the proper way. You don't do it by holding them down because then they get freaked out.
No. We tried a whole bunch of different ways. Like I tried cradling her to make her feel secure. We tried lifting her up, but that didn't made her feel less secure. So basically, we put her on top of the kitchen counter, and I kind of cradle hold her. So I'm not restricting her. I'm trying to keep her from like active moving, and it's working pretty good. It just took her a while to get used to the fact that we're not actually hurting her.
Yeah, really, the way to do it is you gotta get used to like. So you have to get the dog used to you manipulating their paw.
Right. Then, that's what we should have done early enough that we didn't think about. Yeah.
Right. So you got to get them used to that. Then you can bring in the clippers, not using them yet, but them getting used to those being around. And then you do like 1 nail and you reward them. And then later on you do a couple and you just keep doing it that way. And then they learn that, hey, number 1, this isn't so bad. Number 2, I get a treat afterwards. Everything's good.
Right. This is the first time we really used the peanut butter trick, and it did work on Sadie somewhat. For like the first part of it, she was willing to lick peanut butter off of my finger to distract her. But as it went along, she got more and more stressed out and eventually stopped doing it. I think next time when she realizes she's going to get a treat during it, it'll be easier. And Lulu will be super fucking easy next time because she wasn't that concerned about it this time. And then now that she knows she's going to get a treat, it shouldn't be a big deal at all. It's funny how training dogs has to go different with each kind of dog of their personalities. Dogs have just as many different personalities as people do, really.
No, except the racists.
Yeah. Oh, let's see. Speaking of racist, did you see there's a white guy in Minnesota Minneapolis, so where all those riots are going on.
There's a white
That
guy in Minneapolis.
yeah. There's
Stop the
I think
presses.
I think at least 3 or 4. But this guy, I mean, okay, obviously you know what's going on there with the riots and all the contention about the guy that got killed and this, that, and the other. So this guy took it upon himself to okay, he was working out background to the story. He was working out in a private gym that is available to people that rent out office space in this building. So let's think it's different, offices, I assume probably like lawyers and business people or this, that, and the other. And one of the benefits of renting there was that you had access to the private gym. Well, he was in there working out one day, and there's 2 black gentlemen working out as well. And he decided to take it upon himself to confront them and make sure that they were actually tenants. He's like, "Are you tenants here?" And then he wanted them to prove it and all that good stuff. And otherwise he was going to call the police. And obviously they recorded it, and now obviously he's in a lot of trouble, and they've already canceled the lease on his office space. Regardless of whether that's right or not, we can talk about that afterwards. How fucking stupid do you got to be to get yourself into this situation in that fucking city at this time frame?
So, a lot of people want to say that racism is not a thing anymore, but it absolutely is. There are still a lot of backwards thinking people. If I would have been in that gym working out, damn well that guy would not have said a word to me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he wouldn't have a thing to say. But however, because they were too. Go ahead.
However, on the other side, and we discussed this with Tenor just a couple days ago, there is absolutely racism on the other side as well. Like, we can't just say that this is something that only impacts black people. It's just those are the ones that catch the headlines because it's such a divisive issue.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you would never see the opposite situation be a national headline of me working out, in some private gym in, super urban Detroit and have a black guy ask me if I should be there. Like, that wouldn't even be on page 5.
Right, but of course, realistically speaking, the chances of it happening are a lot lower. Even if you were, like, let's say, in a office building in downtown Detroit, and everyone else working out there in that office building was black, they almost definitely wouldn't say shit to you anyways. Because
well, it's because I'm mostly black. I mean, come on.
Right, exactly. I mean, because it just doesn't work that way 9 times out of 10, especially at that level. You will see a lot of racism at the lower levels. When I say that level, like an urban business environment, if nothing else, black people of that level have to hide their racism if they have it because they're dealing with white people in business every day. Now, if you're down in the hood and you try to, like if you walked into Kronk's gym back in the day and tried to work out and stuff, you might have issues. I don't know. I have no clue. I've never heard a bad thing about Kronk's gym when it was open about being bad about wanting to train white guys or anything like that. But that's an example where I could certainly see it happen.
Nah, like 3 homies and I'd be fine.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's one of us. So that's a shitty situation. But regardless, even if he was 100% sure that they were not tenants, that he was 100% right with that, why are you going to be the person to step up and say shit to them? If you really feel that strongly about it, call the management. Have them take care of it. Jesus Christ. How can you have seen what's gone down in the last week or two and have riots in your own goddamn city about racial stuff and think that there's in any way, shape, or form, I know I said that already, a good idea?
Because there's a lot of people that are self-important douchebags that will just do this sort of thing. We talked about another one with the furniture delivery guy in Oklahoma who got locked into a gated community and they wouldn't let him leave despite him being in a gigantic furniture delivery van saying, "Hey, I just delivered furniture," and not wanting to give his customers information because who the fuck are you asking me who I'm delivering to?
Right. Oh, it happened again like a week after that with a FedEx guy. A FedEx guy. You really think this guy stole the FedEx truck and the shirts and stuff and is, going around randomly robbing people? I mean, yes, it could happen, but holy shit, come on, dude.
Stupid people are dumb.
Let's put it a step further than that. If that guy is that committed to his life of crime where he stole the FedEx truck and beat up a guy and took his FedEx shirt. If you stop him and confront him, he's going to fucking kill you. Okay. So there's no situation where that's a good idea.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell's going on there. People are crazy.
Yeah. And since we're talking about race, I believe we didn't talk about the Jimmy Fallon blackface thing yesterday, did we?
No, I didn't even hear about that.
Oh shit! It's old news becoming new news again, because this has been brought up a couple times. 20 years ago, I'm serious. 20 years ago, when Jimmy Fallon was on Saturday Night Live, he played a bit where he impersonated Chris Rock, because apparently he's got a pretty decent Chris Rock impersonation. And for the bit, they tried to make him look like Chris Rock. So he looked like Jimmy Fallon for a really good tan, really. And now it's coming back, and people are trying to do the cancel culture thing on him because of it. And it's silly in so many different retrospects. For one thing, it's not blackface. That's not what he was doing. If people know what blackface is and the type of makeup that they used, it wouldn't even be a conversation. He wasn't trying to do blackface. He was trying to look like Chris Rock. I have no clue how that's racist. He tried to look like Chris Rock and tried to talk like Chris Rock. So apparently you cannot impersonate a black person in any way, shape, or form now.
Yeah, that's just absolutely stupid. He was doing an impression. It's the same thing as when Dave Chappelle does white announcer guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, who gives a fuck?
Exactly. And Team Evil Bad Guys is bringing up that Sarah Silverman's was blackface. Yes, it was. But even in that context, she shouldn't have had to apologize. The entire bit was how when people pretended, how people have ridiculous stereotypes about other races. People show the picture of Sarah Silverman in blackface all the time. They don't show the skit of the black guy with the huge Jewish nose. That's also part of the skit, and the other characters dressed up as these ridiculous racial stereotypes. The entire point of the skit was to make fun of that kind of shit, but yet she still had to apologize for it later on.
Yeah, people need just to learn to just not apologize for this shit. Just flat out, no, this was an impression of Chris Rock. Chris Rock enjoyed it. Go to hell.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, come on, Jimmy Kimmel racist. I mean, you can throw a lot of insults at the dude, but you can't say that. Come on. There's never been you never even the slightest bit of racial overtones in anything about him his entire life. Yeah, and the good points on the chat box as well. Team Evil Bad Guy said he realized it's a different thing. He was just pointing that out. Stray's talking about how it's bullshit. You can't move the goalpost 20 years later on what's acceptable and what's not, and that's entirely what it is too. Even if they had done straight up fucking offensive racist blackface 20 years ago, that was acceptable.
Yeah, more like 30 or 40 on that one. 20 years ago was the year 2000. Like, that would have still gotten some response.
I guess it depends on the context. Yeah. But 20 years ago was it still acceptable to use it as a reference anyways, you couldn't use it as what heck, it's been 40 or 50 or 60 years since you were able to use blackface for what it was intended for, for derogatory depictions of black people on screen. Which is why they made it so over the top with like the really dark skin pigment and some of the other makeup things that they used back then. It was to be intentionally derogatory toward black people. If you just paint your face black, that's not blackface, really. But whatever. I'm definitely not going to get too far into that because I don't want to be canceled.
Yeah, I don't think we're on anyone's radar to be canceled. But
if
either of us ever do get famous, though, this show is going to come back and bite us.
Yeah, I can imagine. So, yeah, all the other shit that I've said already. Let's see, what else do we got today? Did you know about HBO Max?
I just heard of it on like Saturday. It's their like streaming service, I guess.
Yes and no. Do you have HBO Now or HBO Go as part or HBO at all?
No, I cut the cord.
Okay, so you don't have HBO in any way, shape, or form.
No.
HBO Max is like the newer version of HBO Now and HBO Go with a whole bunch of added shit. They said there's enough content that it's actually a viable contender for against Netflix and Hulu and things like that. And the nice thing is, if you have a subscription to HBO Now, you're automatically going to get upgraded to HBO Max at the same price. And I have HBO Now. I just actually re-upped for it again because I wanted to rewatch some of the episodes of Game of Thrones. And that's the easiest way to do it, as opposed to spending $300 on a whole bunch of fucking Blu-rays or digital copies and all that good shit. Unfortunately, through some lack of negotiation, I guess, HBO Max is only available to people that have Apple TV, Google Play, or one or two other ways to watch it. And what it's not available on is Amazon Fire or Roku, which is 70% of the streaming people in the world use Roku or Amazon Fire, including me. So, like, we have one of those Amazon Fire TVs. It's a Toshiba or something like that. That came with the apps loaded right into it. That's how we watch stuff, and we can't upgrade to it, even though we're paying for HBO Now. And I can't believe that they would let the service release without 70% of the people being able to watch it through their traditional methods.
Well, why should they cater to the fucking peasants that don't have Apple TV? Christ.
Right. Well, what I'm saying is, for example, Amazon TV said that they had 5 million subscribers from HBO Now through their service. So that's 5 million subscribers that there's just for Amazon people that they're saying, fuck you. Like I said, it's literally 70% of the viewing audience that can't get it right now. And there are, of course, ways around it. You can hook, different things to your TV. It works like off of PS4. So I'll still have it available here in my room, but it won't be available in the living room, which is the important part. And there's ways around it, but basically it's just a pain in the ass and it's stupid. So I actually canceled my HBO Now. It's going to be it'll expire in about 2 weeks, and if they haven't figured that shit out by that time, I'm not going to redo it. Oh
snap! Look at you, taking a stand.
We have way too many streaming subscriptions. I don't watch any of them. It's one of the few things that I just cave into my wife because she's pretty good about me spending money on my bullshit, and I'm pretty much in charge of the bills and making sure everything's paid and all that good stuff. So my concession to her is she can have all the different streaming shit she wants. I think we spend, God, it's got to be like $50 a month on it. So it's not even that much of a saving over cutting the cord at this point.
Good Lord, here comes passive aggressive Jay.
But no, like we have Hulu, we have Disney Plus, we have HBO Now, we have Netflix, and we have Amazon Prime. But still, it's still, even if we're not saving all that much money over cutting the cord, it's way more selection and availability than basic cable. I'd have to spend like $100 to $200 extra a month on cable to get the sort of catalog that I can get from streaming.
Or you could just allegedly go other routes and just kind of watch what you want, not pay a dime.
Yeah, we've talked about that before. I feel bad about not paying people for content. I mean, someone's got to pay them. If everybody steals their shit, then there won't be any shit anymore because all the artists will fucking starve.
Yeah, shit happens. The problem is, right? Like, so actual TV is a complete crock of shit. Because I'm sorry, it's not worth $100 a month to get fucking cable when half of it is stuff you would never watch anyway. Mm-hmm. If there was like one subscription service that I could get like everything, sign me the fuck up. But if I have to go to Netflix for this and Hulu for that and HBO Now for this and ESPN Plus, and then I need Fight Pass, and then it's too much shit.
Yeah, and they do offer some deals like you can get Hulu, Disney Plus, and ESPN Plus for I think like $12.95 or $14, something pretty reasonable for the amount of content you get from all that.
That's still three goddamn things. Three different fucking services that, yes, they're bundling together, but it's three different goddamn services from the same fucking company.
Right. Yeah, I know what you're saying. If nothing else, they should come up with an app that just lined it all up in one app, rather than, okay, well, I want to watch this sort of stuff, so let me back out and go into this. Oh, I want to watch this sort of stuff, let me back out and go into this. And I'll be honest with you, Hulu is nice and Disney Plus is nice and ESPN, but it's not enough. Hulu does not have the selection that like Netflix does as far as movies and stuff like that. So I think you honestly have to have Netflix on top of it to make it really worthwhile. And Amazon Prime, well, shit, you don't really need to add that on top of it, but you get it for free if you use their shipping service.
But
so
it's
now
still
we have
another
all these different
goddamn
things.
thing.
Oh yeah, and it's exactly. So now I have like 6 or 7 different apps to look through for when I want to watch TV, and it gets to the point it's just sensory overload. I'm like, I'll spend an hour trying to decide what I want to watch and not watch anything. Then on top of that, you have all the free apps. Are you familiar with Hulu TV? I'm sorry, not Hulu. Pluto TV.
You know what I am familiar with? Allegedly just having Kodai.
Oh yeah. I've wanted to ask you about that several times because there's like a couple movies that have come out that I don't want to pay $20 to watch at once, but I really do want to watch it once. So eventually, and it's not going to be on a streaming service anytime soon because it's a DC one of those DC animation movies. And unfortunately, when those go from being on sale to streaming, it goes to their streaming service. I guess there's like a DC Universe streaming thing now. And that's another thing I don't want to pay for.
Another goddamn subscription service.
Exactly. There's so many different ones out there. So I've been tempted to ask you about that a couple of times, but I'm trying to resist temptation. I'm sticking to my morals.
My morals are this. I'm not going to sign up for 73 fucking subscription services, end up paying $200 a month when I rarely watch shows anyway. Fuck that.
Yep.
I'm going to go and I'm allegedly going to just, find what I can. And if for some reason there's a show I really want to watch and there's not great options as far as seeing like some of the earlier seasons, like sometimes that can be a thing, then maybe I'll go and grab either Hulu or Netflix or whatever else for like a month so I can just binge what I wanted to watch and then move the fuck on. I'm sorry, this society with 30 different subscriptions for TV, and then you have Spotify and or Pandora and everything else. Like, god damn, we all end up paying like $200 a month for just subscription services.
Oh yeah. Then if you're a gamer, you got to throw on your monthly services for that. Which I always found kind of offensive. PlayStation 4 is like, here's all the games. Oh, but it costs you a month if you want to play them with somebody else. What? Come on. And Xbox is always like that. It was always a subscription service. Eventually, PlayStation moved up to it. I think it's like $100 a year or $80 a year, maybe even as low as $60 a year. But you have to pay them a yearly fee to use their online service.
Again, subscriptions on top of subscriptions on top of subscriptions. And damn it, Stray, you would not outrun me. I'm very fast for a sprint, but after about 20 yards, I'm quitting.
But I was mentioning, I don't think it'd be the type of thing for you because you don't strike me as a person who sits down looking for something to watch. You sound like the type of person that sits down knowing what you want to watch and then you go looking for it. But there's an app called Pluto TV that I highly recommend for most people. It's a completely free app. It works in 2 modes. It has a whole bunch of stuff in the normal streaming thing where you can pick TV shows and movies and watch it. But for people that are kind of missing their cable, it also has a live broadcast thing where all the different channels, like it has a Fear Factor channel where it just plays episodes of Fear Factor. It has a channel that is nothing but the old 80s American Gladiator show. And then other channels that aren't the same show over and over, but it's like a mystery channel or a horror movie channel. And for a free app, it's really impressive.
Just basically what like Justin.tv used to be.
Probably. I'm not familiar with that.
There's a streaming site that like, and I think this is actually where Rogan got to start with the podcast, but Justin.tv, I think it ended up morphing into what Twitch is now. So there's a lot of people doing gaming stuff on there, but also you'd find these channels that, like, for example, at the time, knowing this was 10, 15 years ago now at this point, probably closer to 10, like there would be people that were just playing all of the episodes of House or something else.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And there's just a constant stream of them.
Yeah, something like that, like the more professional, hyped up version of it. Apparently, strangely enough, the guy that made the app is on our forum. I've seen him post occasionally about it.
Why is he on the other ground?
I have no clue. I don't know if he was an MMA fan or if someone just told him about the forum and he thought it'd be good for advertising. I think he's probably an MMA fan, but who knows? It was kind of neat though.
Well, good for him.
Yeah. Oh, let's see. What else do we got today? Oh, did you see that the Center for Disease Control warns of highly aggressive rats?
Why? Because they don't have a consistent food source with everybody being out and spilling shit all the time?
That is 100% correct, sir. Apparently, with all the restaurants being closed or not producing nearly as much garbage as they normally do, rats in a lot of urban areas have become very aggressive and basically they're starved and they want some fucking food, so you better not fuck with them.
Well, yeah, that makes total logical sense.
Isn't that crazy? All the weird effects from this entire quarantine lockdown. I mean, you see things about like in Venice that supposedly the waters are clearer than they've been in 50 years, and you can see, you can actually see the dolphins and other sea life in the canal that wouldn't normally be there. I've seen shots of like different cities where the smog was so much reduced by the lack of traffic that you could see like mountains from that city that you could never see before. And it's pretty amazing how much humans fuck up the earth on a regular basis, apparently.
Oh yeah, we're burning up this planet.
Yep. Yeah, and it's sad on some levels, but on other levels, once again, one of my favorite authors, Robert A. Heinlein, talked about this. He was talking about people that were activists for nature, and they were always protesting, building this or building that because it's screwing up nature. And while the guy said, he goes, well, I've got nothing against nature in the least bit. I'm a humanist. I'm not a naturist. I root for humans and human advancement. These people that always want, that want to do stuff like block a dam from being built because it'll screw up nature, but they've got no problem with a beaver dam. And this author didn't see how there's anything inherently better about a beaver dam over a human dam. So while he obviously wasn't for cruelty to animals, he figured human progress was way more important than preserving nature. He was also a big proponent of getting the fuck off the planet too, so that might have been part of it as well.
Yeah, he's just a douchebag.
No, he's not a douchebag.
Humans are the cancer of the earth.
Yeah, yes,
like,
they
literally
are.
we are. We are cancer to the earth. We just keep multiplying and fucking shit up.
Right. Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, and that's 100% truth. But the thing is, I happen to be a human, so I'm going to root for us, and so I'd rather prefer that we progress, making things better for humans. I don't want nature to go away either. But if it comes down to making things better for humans or making things better for animals, I say make it better for the humans. Now, one of the reasons he was a proponent of this, obviously, is because he also believed in space travel and that we should be expanding to other planets. So he didn't hold like Mother Earth like as this unique treasure that we had to cherish. He considered it a resource of the human race that we would use to spread out to other planets.
Yeah, but that is just such an egotistical, like, just lazy fucking way to look at life. It's not. It's not a zero-sum game. It's not, okay, let's do things that are best for humans or do things that are best for the earth. It just takes a little bit more effort to do it the right goddamn way.
Oh, right. Yeah, no, and I agree with that 100%. And I'm sure was not his intention. But he was speaking about things that, like when you saw people protesting nuclear power plants and protesting things being built that were obviously useful for humans. He's not saying that he advocates knocking down rainforests to build like an amusement park or some shit like that. But for certain things that are needed, like, for example, what's a good one?
He can advocate these nuts.
Okay, well, I guess we'll have to agree to disagree. I mean, you know me, I'm obviously not for anything that hurts animals or the nature or things like that, but I do understand his point of view. I guess the sticking point is whether or not you believe that we should and are going to be able to leave this planet at some point. Because if you don't think we can, then obviously that changes the entire nature of the discussion.
Well, see, that's where the egotism and the laziness kicks in. It's the self-preservation above all, which you can still self-preserve yourself as a species by doing things the right way and not have to leave the planet because you ruined it. You can get to the point that you reach a homeostasis with it, and then you can also leave the planet.
Oh, right. Yeah, of course. And that's obviously the way we all strive for. But it was an interesting viewpoint. I'm sure that's what his intention was as well. Oh, let's see. What else do we got today? Oh, okay. This one kind of irked me. What do you think of this? There's a guy in New York that bought $200,000 worth of the high quality masks, the one the medical people actually use, N95 or something they call it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he bought $200,000 worth of them because he had a premonition, or he was a doctor, I think, or something like that. So he had stated he saw what was coming. And now he's been charged of price gouging because he is selling them for about a 50% markup.
Good, fuck him. A bunch of people got this, like, around the country. Like, there were early on the people that bought like pallets and pallets of fucking toilet paper and were trying to sell it for like $30 a roll. Like, okay, they got everything taken from them, and fuck them. They were charged with price gouging, or they just had everything seized.
Well, here's my problem. Is that price gouging? Is a 50% markup price gouging? If let's say if he got them for $10 each, right? I'm sure they weren't that much. Is it really price gouging to charge $15 for them because they're in demand? Obviously, if he was charging $30 for a $10 thing, or like a 300% markup or stuff like that, I could totally understand. But a 50% markup doesn't really seem like that much when they're really there, because they're probably like $2 masks, and he's selling them for $250 instead. I think he said he made $50,000 off of his $200,000. So actually, that ends up only being like a 25% markup.
That doesn't make any sense. Like, if he said a 50% markup and they're $2, like, he's charging $3.
Yeah, well, no. Well, see, now
math.
It said now I know it's math. Well, the article said it was up to a 50% markup, but the article also said that he spent $200,000 and made about $50,000. So it's somewhere the math is conflicting.
So here's where Stray makes the good point, and this is actually the point I was about to make. It's a situational thing, and you are hoarding supplies during a pandemic that directly impact the pandemic. So if this is a guy that goes out there and buys a bunch of graphics cards, like, there are huge shortages for those because of everybody doing Bitcoin mining. So something that would have cost you, $600 or $700 is going to cost you around $2,000. Hey, yeah, you made a smart move by stockpiling those things, and then it's supply and demand. But if you're withholding things that can save someone's life to make a buck, you're a piece of shit, and you should play in traffic. This is the same thing that got that fucking Martin Shkreli dude thrown in fucking prison. Like, okay. and the way that we have fucking insulin that costs a ridiculous amount of money versus what it costs to produce. There are certain things that should be illegal to price gouge regardless of supply demand. And then there's an entire class of everything else that it's free market.
Okay. See, because it wasn't so much for me whether he's doing something right or wrong. My curiosity was that they considered 50% price gouging as a legal definition. I wonder at what point does that kick in? Like, if I buy something for $1 that's medically needed, like the situation you're speaking of, obviously I can't sell it for $1.50 at that point. They consider that price gouging. Could I sell it for $1.10, $1.20? Can I resell it for any profit at all?
Yeah, I don't like the idea of resale of like needed medical supply.
Okay, let's go with it in a different direction. Let's say he had spent $200,000 to buy all these masks, but he got a wholesale price for them, where for him they were only $1 each. But retail people bought them all the time for $4. Could he sell them for $4 and make 300% profit, since the $4 did not bring it up above the price of anybody else's masks?
He's still an absolute piece of shit and should play in traffic by wanting to profit off of a pandemic.
Okay, but at that point, it wouldn't be, since it wouldn't be considered price gouging. Would it still? Because he's selling them for way more than he was paid for them, but he's not, and this is a hypothetical example. But he's not charging more than anybody else.
Yeah, but that's not really a situation that would really happen.
Right. It would have to be a case of where he had randomly bought a shitload of them for another purpose and just happened to have gotten them for a cheap price and then have this happen later on. And obviously that wasn't the case. This is something the guy planned out, and that's why I don't feel bad for him, because he'd said, yeah, I saw it was coming, and made comments about how he felt like a drug dealer. And he's like, yeah, nobody can get these. So he knew that nobody could get them at that point. So that's why it doesn't concern me all that much about how it's the gray area of what is price gouging and what's not, because he intended to like do people over bad and try to make money off of it.
Right, and that's where I draw the line, right? Like if you are trying to profit based on like with a pandemic or like people's health issues, like shit like that, like you got to be at least halfway morally, in the right. And this guy and a lot of those others are just garbage fucking humans. So fuck him.
Right, and you see that in other fields too, where it's not, and sometimes it's legal, sometimes it's not legal. Like tickets are a big example of people buying a shitload of concert tickets and then trying to resell them for way, way more than they bought them for. And obviously, there's various laws for that, but the laws seem to work really weird. It seems like it's okay for like an entity to buy a whole bunch of tickets and then sell them at a higher price, but not like a person. I don't really understand how a lot of that works.
Well, yes and no. So like there are scalping laws where you can't just be out on the street doing that. But like if you're a person and you got tickets for something and then you want to sell them personally, generally you're fine. It's more like the people out on the street near a venue that fall under scalper laws.
And I wonder why there's a difference. Why there's a difference from somebody trying to sell their ticket standing there on the street as opposed to someone trying to sell their ticket to their buddy or online or something like that.
Well, because like 80% of those ones that are doing it on the street are scams.
Oh,
so it's
like
easier just
tickets.
To shut it. Yeah, it's easier just to shut it all down.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, but then you'll see like ticket resale services, and you hear a story about those companies going in and buying all the tickets for a concert within like the first 10 or 15 minutes, and then reselling regular tickets for like double the price.
That is the thing I hate about like concerts and shit like that anymore, is you pretty much have to buy everything on a secondary market because they just completely crash the goddamn system. And then you still have all these stupid fees. Like it's a racket at this point.
Yeah.
Like they inserted themselves as a middleman, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, exactly. And they say it's okay. Hey, everyone has the same opportunity to buy from the original source.
Only they don't.
Yes and no. Yes and no. You have about 15 minutes the day that it opens. Then after that, someone else, these companies have bought all of them. So it's not the same opportunity, obviously.
Well, half the time you don't even have that because like if it's something big, they're going to sell out in minutes because they have all fucking macroed this thing to where they have programs that the second those things go on sale, they take as large of an allocation as they can. And they have a bunch of computers doing this. And there are a bunch of companies doing this. Like as a person, you don't have any chance. It's like people trying to make like quick, do like day trading and shit like that, right? Like you do not stand anywhere near of a chance as the people that are directly connected into the stock exchange that have ridiculous connections and ridiculous, firepower as far as technology goes. Like it's not a fair playing field.
No, it's not. And it's funny because these concert people, the magicians, the art, the artists
out of the hat today, boy.
Yeah, right. Now the artists using doing the concerts use that excuse of, our ticket prices aren't that expensive. You can get in for like $125, which to me is, by the way, fucking expensive for like the general admission tickets. But those aren't $125 because that resale company already fucking bought them. And like when I looked it up, I wanted to see Rage Against the Machine, and they were like, "Oh, tickets are $125." I'm like, "Oh, fuck, that's That's pricey for some shitty tickets, but okay, they were like Upper Bowl or some shit like that. And by the time the tickets were actually released, I couldn't get any, and all the resale places were at like $300. I'm not going to pay fucking $300 to sit in the Upper Bowl to watch Rage Against the Machine sing songs about how bad capitalism is. That just doesn't seem right.
Yeah, it's why I don't go to many concerts anymore. It turns into a pain in the ass. Like, I do not want to have to go on to StubHub and whatever else there is to try to find tickets to things.
Mm-hmm. Yep. See, that's why you need to be a hipster and listen to things that nobody else listens to. It's really easy to get tickets to those concerts.
Yeah, I would rather actually listen to, decent music. So, unfortunately, yeah, I'm not just going to listen to shit because it's easier to get in.
Oh, I see how it is. All right. Well, damn, dude, we got 15 minutes left, and I ran out of topics. We've been doing so good the past couple of days about not running out of shit to say. I guess I'm going to have to go to Yahoo and see what the various news articles are, and we'll go from there. Did you see that Henry Cavill is going to return to the Superman role? I realize that's not stuff you really care all that much about.
I give roughly, I'd say if I have to round it to the nearest fuck, it would be 0.
Well, excuse me, I'm getting burpy. For those of us that like nerdy shit, he was not the issue of those movies. He did a good job. I don't know about what he looked like at the start of those movies, but by now he's worked out like a motherfucker. So he looks the role. So he looks the role as best as you're going to get from a normal person. Superman in the comic books has actually morphed into like a giant fucking bodybuilder looking guy that no human could possibly look like. But for someone real human, he's got the good look for it. Although, ironically, and this is going to be a subject you don't care about, Superman shouldn't look like that at all. Superman is an alien who gets his strength from our yellow sun. So he's never worked out a day in his life. He should look like fucking, me before I started working out, some skinny fat guy. Because he can't work out his muscles and get all beefy. Where is he going to get the weights?
You are such a fucking nerd.
But in reality, Superman would be this, nerdy, skinny, fat-looking guy that could never fucking have sex because he'd blow out the lady's back with his sperm. And even if he managed to have sex, and this is funny because this is, I guess, was like one of those alternative universe DC comics. There's one of those comics where Superman had sex with Lois Lane. Put a baby in her, and about 6 months in, the baby kicked and killed Lois Lane.
Yeah, god damn, like this is some super nerd shit here.
Oh, you all shit, dude. Come on. We all know I'm nerdy. It's
but this
I
is
sing
like
songs about it.
This
I'm
is
white
super
nerdy.
nerd, like virgin level, like Comic-Con main floor, absolute nerd shit.
God, Comic-Con, those Comic-Cons always on one level look really interesting because the cosplay costumes are really cool and stuff like that, and they have some cool exhibits. But I couldn't handle being around that big of a crowd of people. Plus, I've been told that the funk is pretty bad. To the point where they put out little hygiene reminders apparently at some of these cons because there's some stinky cosplay motherfuckers out there.
What is it with nerds and lack of personal hygiene? Like, are you guys just afraid of water, or like, what is it?
Shit, for myself, it's the exact opposite. My OCD kicks in way too much. Between that and the fact that I have a poor sense of smell, so one of my main fears has always been like smelling and not realizing it. It's made my showers kind of a weird experience. I basically take 3 showers every day, dude. Kinda. I get in the shower, soap up. First I wash my hair. I wash my hair a day. But then, I soap up, all the appropriate spots, and then I take a wash rag and rinse off 3 times. Like, cover the armpits, chest, genitals, all that good stuff. Go back again, do it again, and then do it a 3rd time. And then once I'm done with that, I actually rinse off with water twice. Hit all the areas once, and Nerds! Jesus Christ, dude. But yeah, because I'm kind of OCD about it. I'm always scared that I'm going to be smelly. So I wash the shit out of myself in the morning. Hey, Tanner, how you doing, boss?
What the fuck are you talking about, Jay?
I don't know. Save me. Hey, Sly, how you doing, boss? I'm glad you guys
How's
are
it
here
going?
so I can stop talking because apparently I'm getting weird.
What the fuck, man?
Goddamn, pal.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I don't even know what to say after this. You went from Superman blowing out Lois Lane's back to the baby kicking her and killing her to your fucking hygiene techniques. What are you doing?
I don't know. Apparently I needed to smoke a joint before I went on today because I'm a little hyped up. So, which part were you actually calling about?
So I'm a little hyped up today. You know what happened to me, buddy?
What's up? What's up?
I'm going to be on the fucking PJ train soon if I can figure out unemployment.
Oh, no.
Holy shit.
What?
Whoa,
I got-
Wait a minute.
I got furloughed for 8 hours, so I got to work 32. I get paid for 32, and then I get to apply for 8 hours of unemployment to make up the difference. So it's an 8-hour furlough week or some shit. I don't fucking know. But I was on the line trying to fucking do it, and you guys must have it mastered, or I must be a complete retard because I can't figure it out. Every time I try to sign up, I go through these questions, and then it says I timed out, and I start again, and I get to another screen, and I push continue, and it says I'm timed out again. So I made my whole family uncomfortable today because I'm threatening to smash computers and shit.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Okay, a couple things about that. I can't offer you much advice because, for one thing, it works different from state to state. So Michigan unemployment is going to be different than your employment. Two, I didn't have to go through all that because I was already on unemployment because of being laid off for the winter. So they just extended that shit. I didn't have to sign up for anything or do anything like that. My country club that I work at reported to unemployment that they were continuing to lay me off, and that was the end of that. However,
yeah, I wasn't asking for your advice, Jay. I'm
No,
just,
no.
you know, and I type with my, I do type with my index fingers, and I headbutt the space bar for a space. By the way, did you, sir? I fucking headbutt the space bar.
But no. The reason I mentioned that is because, at least for me, if I was working back to work 32 hours a week and only not off 8 hours, I'm not even sure if they would let me do unemployment. And if they did, they would only pay me for like 4 hours out of that 8 hours of unemployment. As a matter of fact, I might not make
it's
anything
called
at all.
It's called a work share program.
Huh.
So basically, they had to go through all our unions, and so we're not completely unemployed. So there's a whole program that your employer has to check all the boxes to make it a work share program. So what they do is furlough you, not lay us off. We get furloughed for 8 hours a week. We work 32. Make our 32 hours a week in straight pay, and then you're allowed to apply for the 8 hours, which would roughly be like 20 or 25 bucks or something. For the furlough unemployment pay. But I'm trying to get my ducks in a row, so I'm trying to do it, and it just came out today, kind of blindsided us. So I'm trying to do it, and I can't. The whole system is screwed. I think it's just I don't know if it's me or if it's the whole unemployment website that keeps crashing or whatever. Who knows, man? But, I did have good news today. I did get a puppy, so my puppy's here.
Hey.
So that's a good thing.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I'm always happy about the entire dog thing. Dogs make our life better.
Oh, I thought you were going to say, hey, I'm happy about someone else being on unemployment.
No, it's stressful. It's not a fun thing to be on. I granted, yes, I've had lots of time off and such, but it's stressful in a lot of different ways. As we mentioned, I worry about the tax thing. Technically, unless they extend it, I'm running out of unemployment in like 3 weeks. So it's going to be if the governor extends our stay-at-home thing again past June 12th, I'm fucking in trouble again.
Yeah. Yeah, so if I want to talk about it anymore, I actually, in the grand scheme of things, I'm doing good. I get frustrated with stuff very quickly, and when I'm not frustrated or worried about the whole 8-hour furlough. That doesn't bother me. What bothers me is I spent 2 or 3 hours trying to get my ducks in a row, trying to make sure that I'm wholly compensated for what I do, and I couldn't either. I wasn't smart enough to figure it out. Hear my kid screaming in the background. I swear I didn't hit her. Anyways, I'm trying to get my ducks in the row, and just the whole website was killing me, dude. So yeah, I'm a little high strung sometimes, guys.
Well,
That's all right.
you're
I can
competing
relate.
with freaking all of New York City, so you have a place where it's probably 25-35% unemployment right now. Everybody's flooding that site, so you trying to get some shit done probably isn't working real well.
No, it's definitely not. Let me move so you don't have to listen to my kids scream.
Yeah, no problem. Well, I'm glad you called in. We didn't get your picks the other day. You wanna finish off the show with giving us your picks for the you're gonna be around Saturday for the fights, right?
I should be in and out, but as far as the picks go, do you guys really want them? I don't even know anybody on the card. I heard you guys do yours, and even Grab was like, I'll pick the brown guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I mean, I'll do, if you want me to do my picks, I'll do them. But I truly don't care, and I don't think anybody else cares. But I'll do them if you really want me to.
I don't know. What do you guys think? You want to just skip picks on this one since it's such a coin toss for everybody?
Well, we'll at least go here. There's a couple important ones. So Woodley or Burns?
Okay, we'll do the important ones. I'm going for the black guy.
Okay, well, let's at least get your top 4 picks. Let me get to the.
Okay.
No, I'm not even worried about that because
I'll,
half these people I've never even heard of. I think there's really only 2 big questions. The first one you already answered as far as Woodley versus Burns. The other one,
so obviously
will Mackenzie Dern make weight?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely not. She will not make weight, and she will have her shorts pulled up to the bottom of her tits. That's my call on that one.
Oh, you made me sad.
She's the most overrated, butter-faced girl in the history of MMA, dude. I swear to God.
She has a fucking horse face.
I can't stand anybody. I can't stand somebody who doesn't make weight that wants to roll around on the beach and show you pictures of her fat ass, and the fake accent fucking kills me.
Yeah,
just be real. Come on, man. Just be real.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I understand picking up the accent of the people that you hang out with. When I hang out with Southern people for more than a couple hours, I develop a fake Southern accent that I'm not really doing on purpose. But there are levels to these things.
Forget words. You don't fucking forget English after living here your entire goddamn life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. Now it just needs a translator.
You don't go from going, yeah, it was a really good match. I hit her with an arm bar to go, how you say, I guess good match. I hit her with an army bar, triangle. You don't do that. Come on.
That's just silly. No, obviously not. Yeah, I can see a little bit of a drawl to it, but then again, that's also me hanging out with some people that are speaking the same language. I don't think I could hang out with Brazilians all day long. I would never end up with a Brazilian accent because I don't fucking speak their language.
Well, I have to deal with you for an hour a day, and I can still pronounce names. So, I mean, these things aren't necessarily going through osmosis.
Well, no, you don't understand. You're basically getting slightly cooler every day, but since it's such a slight amount, it's imperceivable. But trust me, you're way cooler than you were 2 months ago.
Yeah,
and Jay, I don't care. I don't care what you say, Jay. You say supposedly every fucking time.
Really? Supposedly.
You say
You just said
that's not even right.
That's not even a word.
Ivli.
Supposedly?
Oh my God.
So I don't even know what word we're talking about anymore. I'm so confused.
It's with a D, supposedly.
Supposedly? I don't know. I don't know about that. I'm going to check your facts.
Oh my God. Who the hell is Ed Kemper and why is he calling me out on here?
I don't know. He sounds like a serial killer, actually.
If he's saying fuck you, you know who it is. It's Homelander.
Oh, absolutely.
That's Homelander.
There you go.
That's definitely Homelander.
Okay, so I was right. It is a serial killer.
Fuck you, Eugene.
Shit.
All right, well, it's been an alter ego for whatever podcast he's going to next.
Oh God, man! I feel so sorry for what I've unleashed on PodBean. Ryan, we should be ashamed of ourselves, really. I had no clue they were going to ruin everyone else's podcast.
I think we're making them better. So instead of these weird fucking socially awkward, well, I mean, you fit into that too, but all these weird socially awkward motherfuckers, like at least now they're, accustomed to real people trying to talk to them and kind of keeping them on their toes.
Yeah, it's good training.
I actually tuned into one last night, and it might have been one that these guys had all been on, but they were talking about them. They weren't in the chat. Either they weren't in the chat or they were in the chat under aliases, and they were talking. It was a couple of black girls that like, yo, spliff. They were talking about forced spliffing, and they were having a conversation about those guys, and those guys were not in the chat unless they were under alias.
Yeah, I think you traumatized some of them.
So Jay, that's actually what you need to do. So if we can't get guests via Twitter or on the OG, go troll some of these other podcasts and get one of them to come on here.
Oh yeah, I'd have to use my phone since I don't have BlueStacks on my computer. But yeah, that might be funny one day. Just call it a whole bunch of different ones on there and try to reverse interview them.
Well, no, not
Jay,
even that.
what you should do,
invite him to this show, and then do your thing.
You should make your screen picture. You should make your screen picture under like some really, really hood chick, with gold teeth and big hoop earrings, and you should call yourself Passive Bay.
Shit. And then call it with my normal voice, of course. Hi, I'm Passive Bay.
Juicer's already got it up. I know damn well somebody's going to use that.
Oh, man. That'll be a good time, yeah. Well, shit. Speaking of time, it's been an hour. Do you guys got anything you want to cover? I mean, we can break now. If you guys got something you want to talk about, we can always run over.
Let's shoot this shit, boys.
Oh, shit, boys.
No, I don't have anything to say. It was fun. We just bullshit and guys, don't take me too serious about me fucking slamming shit and breaking shit. I didn't really do that. I just get pissed off about that stuff. So.
No, and that's totally understandable. I had an uncle who was in the Air Force, was an airplane mechanic, then came back and did mechanic work. Eventually moved on to something else, but he always worked on his cars. And he was the gentleman that showed me the proper way to throw a wrench in frustration. On almost every auto project he ever worked on, he fixed two things. He fixed whatever he was working on and whatever he broke while he was fixing
whatever he
it.
broke.
Yeah, normally a windshield or like a side mirror. But yeah, he figured it into his project that it was going to cost a little bit extra for that.
What's his name? Patches
Without
O'Houlihan?
a doubt.
No, his name was Ed.
Because if you can dodge a wrench,
guy.
you can dodge a ball.
On that note, we should probably just end it on that one. That was a good one.
Yeah, no kidding. All right, we're going to be back tomorrow at the same time at 6 o'clock. I have no clue why, but why not? I want to thank Sly Dog for calling, even though we didn't get a chance to talk to him. Thank Tanner for calling in. And as always, I love to see the OG Army here. I thank you guys for showing up. Ryan, you got anything?
I have two things. As always, number one, everybody remember to stop by on Saturday. We will be starting at the normal time, but going through all of the fights. We're going to need your help because we have no idea who any of these fuckers are.
Yeah, it's gonna be an interesting fight companion. Normally we talk about the fighters. I don't know. We might be talking about Dalton's favorite color for 3 hours.
Well, obviously it's black. Also, along those lines, be sure to join us on Sunday, where we'll also probably be running a little bit long to watch the Superhuman YouTube special.
I'm way more excited about that than the UFC thing.
We should probably do some sort of bet whether or not this guy breaks something. I'm hoping yes, just to hear him moan in pain. And I think that probably makes me a terrible person.
Well, we don't judge here.
Fuck, no, we don't. You've heard some of these assholes. But secondly,
what else you got?
Secondly and finally, fuck all y'all.
We'll see everyone tomorrow at 6 o'clock. You guys have a good night. Bye-bye.
Peace.
Screw you, hippie!